Well, what's up everyone, I'm Callum on Toast, and in today's video I've got some absolutely insane battles to show you in the Open Great League. Now you guys know that I don't often run meta Pokemon, but a subscriber requested for me to run a meta team just because they would like to see how I perform running meta instead of the usual spice that I run. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a try, except let's do it with a twist. So I thought to myself, what are the most busted, broken Pokemon in the Open Great League? And aside from maybe Zap Cannon, Registeel, I'm sure everyone would say that Hydro Cannon on Swampert, Icicle Spear on Walrein, and Poison Fang on Nidoqueen are probably the three most busted charge move and Pokemon combinations in the Open Great League. So I thought, let's run a team with all three of these Pokemon, except let's not run those OP charge moves and see how they perform. I never thought I would have this much fun running a meta team, but it just shows you that if you make a few minor adjustments to meta Pokemon, then you can still have a ton of fun. And with that being said, let's get into the question of the day now. What's your favorite meta Pokemon that you like to run with an unorthodox moveset to surprise your opponents? Let me know in the comment section below, and as well maybe give an example of a time where that moveset came in clutch. And with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle here, we're going to lead Swampert into a Talonflame, which is a really good lead for us. My opponent switches into the Azumarill. I'm actually going to stay in, go for an Earthquake. My opponent throws after 5 bubbles, so we can tank an Ice Beam, and we will. We'll go for one more Mud Shot, go for the Earthquake, and then we're going to switch into the Nidoqueen. We land the Earthquake, and now they should be into Farm Down Rage, and I don't have to shield the Ice Beam here. Now my opponent comes back in with the Talonflame, and this is perfect. Are they gonna respect the Stone Edge here from the Nidoqueen? No, and boom, we take out the Talonflame. They come in with a Swampert, and are they gonna be expecting an Earthquake? Of course they're not. And boom, we take out the Swampert, and we absolutely destroyed my opponent there. They still had 2 shields remaining, but they just weren't prepared for the double nukes Nidoqueen. Now into the next game, we lead into a Tropius, not a good lead. We switch into the Nidoqueen. My opponent comes in with Bastiodon. Now a fun fact here, the Bastion can actually tank an Earth Power, so they're gonna no shield the first one, but boom, we take him out because we're running Earthquake. My opponent comes in with the Medicham here. We're going for Earthquake number 2. Will they respect the move this time? No. Boom, we take out the Medicham, and my opponent is gonna concede the match. Oh my gosh, this team was just so fun, and moments like that were just ridiculously satisfying. Into the next game, we lead into a Walrein, so not a good lead for us here. I can tank one Icicle Spear, so I will do, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake here just before they reach the second Icicle Spear, and then I'm going to switch into the Walrein, hoping to catch a move, but my opponent is well disciplined and they don't throw straight away. Now I'm going to tank the expected Earthquake here on the Walrein. My opponent is staying in, so I'm thinking that perhaps they are not prepared to face Walrein in the back. I land the Earthquake. It does a ton of damage, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to farm them down. I can actually let this move go through, and because they bait me, I'm going to be able to get to another move. Actually, no, I have to shield this up. Now my opponent is going to switch out. I'm just barely able to get to the Earthquake despite the stutter lag, so that is perfect. We land it on the Sableye. That does a ton of damage. I'm going to come in with the Nidoqueen here. I'm going to switch, try and catch a move. I'm not able to, but my opponent does go for the farm down, so I'm able to get to a Muddy Water here, get the final shield from my opponent, and now I go for a Poison Jab, sorry. We're going to shield up this move, and one more Poison Jab is enough to take out the Sableye. They have a Trevenant in the back. They go for a catch. I don't go for the throw yet. I go for the Stone Edge. This will do huge damage up against the Trevenant. It nearly takes him out, and one more Poison Jab is enough to take out the Trevenant and take that game. So once again, Stone Edge coming in absolute clutch there. Into the next game, we're going to be leading into a Medicham, and unfortunately I get weak connection and I'm now a turn behind, but that doesn't matter too much, I don't think. They go for a Power Up Punch. I'm going straight for the Earthquake here, and this will do huge damage if the Medicham no shields, which they do. And now I'm going to switch into the Nidoqueen here. My opponent banks a Power Up Punch and switches into the Mandibuzz here, but we have Stone Edge. Stone Edge gonna do huge damage up against the Mandibuzz. They're farming up to the back-to-back charge moves here. I will let the first one go through, but I'm going to shield the second one. We get the poison jab through, so we will take out this Mandibuzz, and my opponent is going to be coming back in with the Medicham. I know this is just a power punch, so I'm gonna no shield it. I poison jab, farm them down, go for an earthquake straight away up against this Registeel, and boom, it does so much damage. My opponent wasn't ready for it, and we take that game. Oh my gosh, like I cannot tell you how fun it was running this team. Into the next game, we lead into a Nidoqueen. My opponent switches into a Swampert here, and unfortunately their switch costs 0 turns, so they're able to get to the charge move at the same time as me, but they win CMP, so I'm forced to shield there. I go for a Muddy Water bait, we get the attack drop, I switch into the Walrein, and now I get a extra Powder Snow through, so I guess that kind of evens out for the 0 turn switch that they had. And my opponent is going for another Hydro Cannon here. They don't build up to the Earthquake, which makes my life a lot easier because I'm not running Icicle Spear, so I couldn't have thrown straight away. I go for the Earthquake here, takes out the Swampert, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to get to another charge move here. Unfortunately the Walrein with the Blizzard just absolutely sucked compared to the other two Pokemon here, but we come in with the Swampert, going for an Earthquake up against this Azumarill. We land it, it does huge damage, I bank a Muddy Water, I switch into the Nidoqueen, and we've done enough Poison Jab damage that we can farm down with the Swampert, so I let the Hydro Cannon go through, boom, it takes us out, but I now have a ton of energy to throw into this Nidoqueen. My opponent no shields it, and they probably weren't expecting a Muddy Water, they were expecting to lose here, but I'm going to shield that up and Mudshot farm them down and take that game. So yeah, Walrein definitely the worst of these three. I had a few scenarios where my opponents even shielded a Blizzard, and that was just not fun at all. So yeah, I don't really know. Even like up against a Medicham, I had Medichams shielding Blizzard, but whatever. We go for the Earthquake. Once again, we land it. I switch to catch the move, and this time they do throw straight away. So it is just a power up punch. My opponent comes in with a Gliscor. Now they're going to go for a move straight away. This is not an Earthquake, so I can no shield it. They're actually running Sand Tomb. I'm going straight for the Stone Edge. Usually Gliscor walls Nidoqueen, but boom, we take them out, and now they come in with a Sableye here. So things are still not looking great. Unfortunately, we don't have the Icicle Spear, so we're going to have to land an Earthquake on this Sableye. I no shield, it's a return, and my opponent is playing me at my own game of going straight for the nukes, and unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be able to win this game now. I go for a Muddy Water, we do get an attack drop, but unfortunately we're at such low health that there's no way we get into two Earthquakes. The first one gets shielded, and my opponent is able to take me out, and I still had 2 shields remaining, so really well played there. Good play going for the return. Into the next game, we lead into a Stunfisk. They swap into a Sableye. I don't have a good response here, so I'm going to bait them with a Muddy Water. And we get the shield, and we get an attack drop. I'm still going to shield this up anyway, as I will be able to outpace them to the Earthquake here. I'm going for it straight away. Will my opponent shield this up? No! Boom! We take out the Sableye. And what are they going to do? They come back in with the Stunfisk. I'm not baiting. I'm going for the Earthquake once again on a CMP tie with their own Earthquake. And boom! We take out the Stunfisk, and they have a Nidoqueen in the back. And that is a good game, to quote Homeslice Henry there. Into the next game, we lead into a Swampert mirror match. So I'm going to go for the 5 mud shots, go for a Muddy Water here, and maybe I'll try catch a move on the Walrein. Yeah, I do try, but my opponent doesn't throw. I'm actually just going to no shield this. And my opponent baits me with a Hydro Cannon. They come in with an Azumarill, so I'm going to go for the Earthquake here, and this will do about 45% damage to the Azumarill, and they are now into the yellow. I'm just going to no shield this, let the Walrein go down. Play Rough takes us out. And now I'm going to come in with the Nidoqueen here, probably shield once and completely farm down this Azumarill. They go for an Ice Beam, and that would have done a ton of damage, so we shield it up, and now we have quite a lot of energy. They come in with a Galarian Stunfisk. I'm going straight for the Earthquake, and boom, it nearly takes him out, and I come in with a Swampert here, and unfortunately this Swampert is absolutely loaded. They go for a Hydro Cannon, and it does so much damage. My only play here is to land an Earthquake. Can we land it? No, they shield it up, and unfortunately we are going to be losing this game. There's no way I'm getting to a Stone Edge before they get to 2 Hydro Cannons, so I let it go through and I lose that match. So GG's to that opponent. I see they shielded because a Hydro Cannon probably would have taken them out, so unfortunately we're not able to win that game. In this game here, we're leading into a Drifblim. We throw just before they get to a Shadow Ball. We go for a Muddy Water. We get a shield, which is perfect. And now I'm safe swapping into the Walrein here. My opponent goes for a Shadow Ball and they switch into a Registeel. So I'm going for the Earthquake here just before they get to a Focus Blast or Zap Cannon. My opponent lets it go through, which is perfect. And now I'm going to let the Walrein go down. Now I'm actually going to come in with the Nidoqueen here, as we do resist both charge moves that Registeel can throw, and as well we can get so much farm here because they do double resist the poison jabs. They go for a Zap Cannon, which does absolutely nothing because we're a ground type. They're probably going to come back in with the Drifblim. We have lowered our attack because of the Zap Cannon, but Nidoqueen doesn't care about that. We go for the Stone Edge, boom, we take out the Drifblim. My opponent comes in with a Dragonair, which is certainly very spicy. I'm going to go for the Earthquake, but not before my opponent can get to a charge move. We will shield this up, go for the Earthquake, and this will either take out the Dragonair or get the final shield. And at this point I don't want to throw a move, I'm just going to let them take me out because I have an Earthquake loaded on the Nidoqueen. And you guys know that this is game over for the Dragonair because Earthquake booms the Dragonair and we take that game. Into the next game, we lead Swampert into a Medicham, so another fairly neutral lead. We get weak connection here, and I think this is the match I was talking about earlier, where I'm a turn behind, so unfortunately they get to the Psychic before us, we call the bait, and unfortunately we're taken out. So we would have been able to get to the Earthquake there and won a CMP tie, but unfortunately the game, or maybe it was just my Wi-Fi being an issue there, but we go down in that lead matchup. We also are now down a shield. We're going for the Stone Edge, taking out the Medicham there with a resisted move. My opponent is thinking, why the hell did they throw a Stone Edge? But that's because I've got Earthquake, and my opponent probably isn't going to respect the Earthquake here. And boom, we take out the Registeel. They come in with a Mandibuzz, and now things look good for us, but it is not over yet. We go for the Stone Edge. We get the shield from the Mandibuzz. It's a CMP tie, which is perfect. I'll let the Nidoqueen go down. And now this typically is a really good matchup for Walrein, but because we're running Blizzard instead of the Icicle Spear, this is actually going to be insanely close. We're going to be forced to throw an Earthquake bait up against a flying type, which is just insane. What Pokemon runs Earthquake as their bait move? We go for the Earthquake, we get a shield from my opponent. My opponent gets to the charge move here. Is this going to be enough to take out the Walrein? No, we live just barely, and we're able to get to the Blizzard with about 1 HP remaining. And we take out the Mandibuzz there and take that game. So you can see that Blizzard on Walrein just absolutely sucks unless all shields are down. Into the next game, we lead into a Bastiodon. My opponent switches into a Shadow Gardevoir. Nidoqueen really appreciates this, and we're able to Poison Jab, farm down the Gardevoir. They come back in with the Bastiodon, and once again, they can live an Earth Power from the Nidoqueen, but they're not going to live this Earthquake because we take them out there, boom, and then we're able to get to a Stone Edge up against the Shadow Victory Bell, and this will get a shield from my opponent. Now I'm actually going to come in with the Swampert here because I can get to a charge move, and I'm able to get to the Muddy Water here. This should get a shield, but it doesn't. My opponent lets it go through, and now they are in range for me to farm them down with the Powder Snows. They go for a Leaf Tornado. That doesn't debuff my attack, and I'm able to take them out there. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we lead into an Obstagoon, so I'm just going to go straight for the Earthquake once again. That's what I typically do up against these counter users, going straight for the Earthquake. And my opponent calls the Earthquake there, so they shield it up, which is not good. I'm going to no-shield this. I should survive a Night Slash, and I'm barely able to get to the Muddy Water here, but I don't expect to shield this move, so unfortunately not in the best position here. So I'm going to come in with the Nidoqueen, looking for a full poison jab farm down. This would be so much better if I had the poison fang in this scenario. I shield the first move just because they farmed up so much. It could have been something like a hyper beam. They get to another Night Slash, and unfortunately they get to one more Night Slash just before they go down, so I let it go through. My opponent comes in with a Skarmory here. I'm going for a Stone Edge. This will do decent chunk of damage to the Skarmory. I switch into the Walrein here, and I'm looking to Powder Snow farm down fully. Gonna shield this up. It is a Brave Bird. My opponent is gonna stay in. They realize they're getting farmed down. They come in with a Nidoqueen. We don't have Icicle Spear. We go for the Earthquake, and boom, we take out the Nidoqueen, and we're gonna be able to Powder Snow, farm down the Skarmory, and take that game. Into the next match, we lead Swampert into a Shadow Victory Bell, so not a very good lead at all. I'm coming in with the Nidoqueen here. I'm going to go for the Earthquake once I get to it. I am shielding up the foul play here as I need to preserve my health. I'm going to overfarm a little bit. Actually, no, I'm going for a Stone Edge. This is a Shadow Sableye. So Stone Edge takes out the Sableye, and we're able to get switch advantage. Now my opponent is going to come in with the Victory Bell. Unfortunately, we're not able to get to a move, so I come in with the Walrein here. I'm actually going to call that they're going for an Acid Spray, and they do, and we survive that, and they have a Bastiodon, and we're able to take that game. Oh my gosh. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, then make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And honestly, I'm not going to recommend these movesets on the Swampert or the Walrein because Icicle Spear and Hydro Cannon are just so much better. But on the Nidoqueen, this moveset is actually extremely viable. You saw just how deadly the Nidoqueen is with this moveset. Most Nidoqueen users just counter 5 and throw straight Poison Fang, so a lot of opponents don't shield the first move, meaning that when you're running double nukes, you're going to be landing a ton of nukes, and it was just so satisfying. So if you do want to spice up your battles but you don't want to be too crazy, then I definitely recommend you try out this moveset on the Nidoqueen and let me know how it goes. But with that being said, let's get into the shoutouts from my previous video. So firstly, we've got Jordan Raymond, who says they got a hundo Shadow Swampert a month ago, and it's amazing in the Open Master League when shields are down, and that is a really cool Shadow hundo to have maxed out at level 50. Next, we've got Gandalf, who seems to be winning in Pokemon Go because they have 3 Shadow Hundos maxed and best buddied that they run in the Open Masters: Mewtwo, Machamp, and Snorlax. So those are 3 insane Shadow Hundos to have, and that is extremely lucky for them. And finally, we've got Yogesh Sharma with the most unique response here, as they have powered up their only Shadow Hundo, a Shadow Cacnea, to level 50. Now this reaches about 1420 CP, so still a little bit away from 1500 CP, but not too far off. But this is extremely spicy Pokemon, so a very interesting investment. But often we do that when we have unique Shadow Hundos, so I totally understand why they did it. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.